Hello everyone. So for today's tutorial, I've thought of showing you a pretty basic but yet useful setting that you can add when you define fields. So basically, it's the copy setting, which will allow you to customize whether the data in the field is brought along when you copy an entry. So by default, the value is set to true even if you don't mention it. So that means when you copy an entry, all the fields for which it's not actually specified will be copied, all of their values. So uh, writing it explicitly isn't really required, but it's for the sake of the demo, I've just written it. If you don't mention it, it will behave the same way. So for instance, in here, I've created a model, and so the name, the client name, and then template notes will be brought along and duplicated when you copy an entry. For the case of the reference field, so this is the first one when I do specify that it doesn't have to be copied, so you just set it to false. For the case of this field, because it's a reference, it's much more logical to rely on a sequence and have obviously a unique reference. So the logic for this is so you just set it here, and then you rely on the standard way of using a sequence. So I did define it here. So this is the block, and so this specifies that when you create a new entry for this model, it will name the reference ref dash and then three numbers, and it increments by one. And so it will begin with 001, and then from there on, it would just go up. So this is done by calling it in the create. That's how the standard does the standard does it. Besides that, so yeah, you'll see other options with copy false. That's mostly because in a lot of cases, it doesn't make sense to duplicate stuff. So for instance, here, the signature date and the Boolean that shows if the document has been signed shouldn't be copied because, well, obviously no date and it shouldn't have already been signed if you're duplicating it and technically creating a new entry. So these two are false, but it's just to show you that a lot of the fields do have a inherent logic and some choices will be way more obvious for these use cases. So these two won't be copied, just like reference. But in this case, they won't get any default value. So they'll just be empty and you'll have to fill it in manually. Um, right. And so the amount is just like regular. It's going to be copied. Uh, and besides that, so yeah, I did add a count. So technically it's not copied. It's initialized at 0, but this will show you the right count because in the copy method, I've overridden it. And I just added that incremental step for the copy count. Yeah, just as a reminder, do have to call the supper, which actually calls the original method when you do an override. It's a basic refresh, but I think it's always good. Right, and then in the UI, the way this behaves, so let me just start fresh. Uh, I just create a new one, so this will be, I don't know, test contract. Uh, Great client because we only have great clients, right? And then, yeah, let's say 200. Now that's a great note. Contract reference, just for the sake of it, I'll just name it test. Um, Test ref, just because we know that the sequence we set up was actually ref dash. So you'll see instantly how it behaves. We'll just fill it in just as if it had already been signed. So we do tick the Boolean and set up a signature date, and perhaps we can make it active. So by now the count is still at 0, which makes sense. But you see already here a reminder of what is going to be copied and what won't. Okay, so I just save it. And if I duplicate it, boom, then you see, so it did add the copy after the name. That's because it's something we had set up in the copy here, in the copy method. So it took the original name and just added the extra copy at the end. So that worked. The rest was brought along as specified. So the notes, the amount, the client name and everything. But for that section, you do see that it created a new reference, so it's not test ref anymore. It's ref and then the sequence number that just incremented. I had done a prior test, so the sequence had already burned the 1, but so then that's the 2. It did work. And those were set to copy equal false. So you see that the signature they didn't come along and neither did the Boolean here. So that's perfect. And the status got changed back to the default value because it wasn't copied either. And so it's back to draft. And this one had never been duplicated, so that worked as well. If you do check here, we did increment it here. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Hopefully that's going to be useful for you. I think it is. And see you soon for the next video. Bye.